Hi everyone, I'm Caroline and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about viral word origin stories. So every so often you might see floating around the internet a new meme or a new tweet where someone says, "Oh my gosh, I just realized that blah stands for blah." And it's almost always false. So today I'm going to be discussing my favorite few of these, and together we can discover how good the internet is at making stuff up. So, the first one I want to start with is you might have seen this tweet a few years ago from someone named Austin that says, "It took me 19 years to figure out that news stands for notable events, weather and sports." And then like this emoji. So I love this. I think it's so interesting to imagine how this Austin person made this amazing discovery. I know when they say it took me 19 years to realize, I know that they mean like this Austin is 19 years old and it took them their whole life to realize this. But I also like to imagine that they've just spent the last 19 years trying to work out what news is, just in their library, just going, what does it mean? And I'm proud to say that they are so very wrong. I also like that they didn't just learn it somewhere, they didn't just hear it, they didn't just read about it, they just realized. Okay, so they could have just gone, news could stand for noteworthy events, weather and sports. I should look that up. So what was it that made them go, oh no, that's it, that's definitely it, I've solved it, that is 100% what news stands for. I'm gonna put this on the internet. What? How is that the outcome of this thought? So this is a really great origin story. I really like it. It's very creative. Good job, Austin. I particularly like that it took 19 years to work this out. I appreciate that grind. That's a lot of work to put into an etymology, which by the way means the history of words, not to be confused with entomology, which is the study of bugs, our sworn enemy. So as you can I don't even know how to transition from that. But as you can see, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary Twitter account was not impressed. And this received so much attention and had so many retweets and so much discussion about it that BuzzFeed actually wrote a whole article just being like, this is wrong and here is why. Which is good. You know, I appreciate BuzzFeed getting on the etymology team. So where do we actually get the word news from? Well, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, this is the part where I start sounding like an 8th grade English paper, we get the word news from just the word new. So in Middle English, which is like 1500 to 1000 years ago or so, English and French were like really good friends. We have a lot of words from French in English and we were really buddy-buddy with them for a bit. There were lots of wars and stuff, but I'm just gonna go with the buddy theory. One of the words for new in French, nouvelle, got pluralized to nouvelle, which sounds exactly the same because a lot of words have silent things in French, and English kind of just like looked over at French and was like, hey, I like that, I could do that. How about I turn my new into news? So essentially English just copied French's homework and now we have an excellent word that we use daily. So the next word I want to talk about is Adidas. Adidas? Adidas. I know that Americans say Adidas, but I've always said Adidas. Everyone I know says Adidas, so I'm going to stick with Adidas for this video. I once heard on the radio from just a random talk show host that Adidas stands for All Day I Dream About Sports, which again, very creative, makes a lot of sense, fully like in with the brand, and so false. Adidas actually comes from the name of the guy who created Adidas. His name was Adolf Dassler, except he was extremely German, so maybe like Adolf Dassler. So Adidas is actually the first part of his first name and the first part of his second name smushed together to be Adidas. So actually there's sort of more impetus to say Adidas because he wouldn't have been Adi, he would have been Adi. So Adidas makes more sense with the like word origin stories, but you know, words change, pronunciations change. You can say whatever the heck you want. As long as other people also do that, then it's a word and it's legit. So anyway, Adidas, it comes from Adolf Dassler and not from All Day I Dream About Sports. The next word I'm going to talk about is slang. So you might have seen around the internet, I've seen this a few times in various corners of the web, that slang is short for short language. And so it itself is also slang. It's very nice. It's very, again, super creative. These people, very creative. I have found so many memes with slang is short for short language on them. This is not the origin of slang. I also like that the kind of implication is that initially it was pronounced schlang. That kind of sounds like a dirty word. I know it sounds a lot like a German word, which is not super appropriate. Does anyone here say schlang, and is it a bad thing? If so, let me know in the comments and just like be subtle about it so that you don't get like filtered out. But again, not true. Not true at all. Sorry. Yeah, so this one's kind of disappointing in terms of this video because it appeared at least as early as 1756, again according to the Oxford English Dictionary, but we actually have no idea where the word slang comes from. So that's kind of a letdown. If I'm gonna like tear you down, I really want to build you back up again. But this time I don't have any answers for you. I'm sorry, all I can say is that it's not short language. Yeah, I get why people come up with this stuff. We have a lot of words in English like this where you just take part of one word, part of another word, smush them together, and you have a new word. We have like smog, which is smoke and fog. We have like spork, which is spoon and fork. So, we have quite a few of these. So it's not, I see the appeal of making this a fake origin story. It's very, it's clever. We have two more. The next one is Bing, our lovely alternate search engine. This one is rumored to stand for because it's not Google. So this is the part where I'm ruining other people's jokes with language facts. I don't think anyone actually thinks that this stands for because it's not Google, but I wanted to bring it up because the origin story is somewhat interesting. I'm going to say very interesting. Don't sell yourself short, Caroline. It's very interesting. So Bing is Microsoft's search engine. And apparently the reason it's called Bing is because Bing is the sound that the Microsoft people hear in their heads when they think about the moment of discovery and decision making. Which, does anyone else hear the sound Bing when they do something? I guess like a light bulb, but do light bulbs ever go bing? Bing? I guess. It's, I'm coming round to it. So apparently bang was also a strong contender for basically the same reasons. Apparently Microsoft people hear bang when they have a big decision. And I'm not kidding. The reason why they didn't choose bang is because they wanted Bing to be used as a verb the way we use Google. So we say like, oh, just Google that, or I Googled that the other day. They wanted people to say, oh, I'm gonna Bing that, oh, I binged that the other day. And they felt that bang might be sending the wrong message. Oh yeah, what is that thing? Can you just bang that? Oh, I banged myself the other day, it was not good. So honestly, I feel like actually the world has missed out. I feel like that would have been a great opportunity. But also, have you ever heard anyone say Bing? As in like, are you going to Bing that? Can you Bing that for me? Because I have not, but I would be curious to know if people have. So let me know. Okay, so we're gonna end on a positive note because this one's actually true. And it is the word goodbye. So someone on Tumblr has written, I'm so angry. Some 16th century asshole wrote God be W ye in a letter as an abbreviation for God be with ye, and it appeared as Gobuye, which was then read as goodbye. And that's why we say goodbye, because of 16th century chat speak. And then someone else has written, I hope there's proof to back this up because that's hysterical. And then someone has written, as the proud holder of an English degree, I can confirm this is fact. And I, as a proud holder of a linguistics degree, can also confirm this is fact. This is true. It is really the case that goodbye comes from the equivalent of 16th century text speak. This is a certified cool language fact. Yeah, goodbye is just God be with ye all smooshed up together. And what happened is that because we already had things like good morning, when people read this mess of God boye, they kind of in their mind equated it to good morning because both of them seem to be some kind of greeting or farewell. So because they analyzed it as goodbye, it's really interesting to think that now we have bye as just a shortening of goodbye. So bye wasn't anything initially. it was just be with ye. And so if you subscribe to the idea that words mean what they originally meant, which you shouldn't and they don't, but if you do, I like to imagine that whenever we say bye, we're saying be with ye. Be what with you? No idea. Now, one thing I wanted to say before I finish this video up is that while a lot of these were untrue, and a lot of the other ones around the internet that you might see will also be untrue, it's really cool to see people getting really creative and imaginative with the words that they use on a daily basis. And so I wanted to just leave you with some information about how you can find out true word etymologies for yourselves. So if you're a student or you belong to a library, you'll often be able to access through either your school or the library the Oxford English Dictionary online website at oed.com. And that, in my opinion, is probably the best place to get your etymology knowledge. It's really well maintained, really kept up to date, and has so much information there. But if you don't have access to that through a school or a library, unfortunately, it's pretty expensive. But Online Etymology Dictionary, which is at etymonline.com, is also very good and is also free. So if there are any words that you're interested in knowing the origin stories for, or you see a suspicious origin story floating around the internet, head over to one of those websites and double check what you think might be going on before you feed lies
to your family and friends.
So that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for joining me on my first ever YouTube video. My vision for this channel is something like a commentary YouTube channel that deals a fair bit with language, because I'm a language nerd, but I also like to make fun of things. So if that sounds like anything that you'd be vaguely interested in, please hit the subscribe button and the like button down below and press the bell to turn on notifications. And leave me a comment to let me know what you thought of this video and if you know of any suspicious word origin stories that you want me to look into. Alright, be with ye! Where are my notes? Notes time. What? I can't speak. Why do I even try? Yeah. Gosh, why is this such a hard word to say? What is language even? I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'm so lame. Oh my god, I hope everything's recording. It is. Okay. But, yeah. What are they called? Jokes. Don't sell yourself short, Caroline. It's very interesting.